there's so many conversations that have taken place lately about swing plane. And what is it and how do I get it? I love talking about swing plane, one of my favorite topics of conversation. In fact, it's something that I'm working on in my golf swing. Remember, by the way, as we talk about this, to like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're telling your friends about what we've got going on here, because I'm going to help them improve as I help you improve as well. Okay? Now, I want to talk to you about swing plane. So what is swing plane? This idea that when you take the club back, imagining that there's a plane of glass right here on a given angle, depending upon the club shaft, and when the club swings back, it kind of rides along that plane, that it's not going over across the line, which we've seen many times, or the club doesn't come inside and break the gap, doesn't go flying outside in the backswing, that it kind of rides along this plane. And when you take the club back, it kind of works back like this, and folds up to here and ends up in this position here, where the head of the golf club is farther away from the strike line than the handle. Up here like this, up there like that, and then boom. Now, I've had a very difficult time with my game trying to get the club on the proper plane. I was standing the shaft up very tall in the backswing, so I would come back like this, take the club up like this, and the club would never lay down. And early on in my career, I was really across the line. When I was a little bit younger, a little more supple, I was really across the line. So my swing has had a couple of evolutions. Well, now, what I've done is I've worked on developing this. I got a swim noodle that I hooked up to a different little device that I had. And I was messing around one day trying to figure out, well, how could I take this club back and get the club into a planed position? And what I've had, you can do this, by the way, with a gear tie. This is an easy thing to do with a gear tie. But I like this because it doesn't really have a lot of weight to it, and I have a visual in my mind. So what I imagine when I take the club back is I'm going to take this swim noodle, and when I go up to the top, I'm going to point it up to the sky. When I point it up to the sky, now the head of the golf club's way over there. If I point the swim noodle over there, now I'm going to be down the line. If I go like this and I point it to the sky, all of a sudden the head of the golf club goes back that way because of what happens with my forearms, because of what happens with my wrists. So I want a little bit, not a lot, but there's a little bit of forearm rotation that takes place from waist high above. Forearm rotation is an important thing to have when you're trying to get the club in the right plane. If you don't rotate the forearms, what you're going to get is a swing that works like that, and then this is going to work like that, which is what was happening in my swing. I didn't have a lot of forearm rotation. Well, rather than thinking about what I'm doing with my forearm, I'm just using creativity and imagination here to get my body to move the club in the way that I want it to move. So what I do is I take the club, I get set up, and now all I'm thinking about is taking this swim noodle here and pointing it up to the sky. So I go up like this. And what I want you to do, and as I said before, you can do this with a gear tie. And it's not a very difficult thing to do. I just did this because it was a little bit different and it's a little bit lighter. And it was something that kind of had a little fun with, okay? So up here like this, take the club back. Now, point this up to the sky, and that's when I really started feeling my left arm rotating in a clockwise direction. So now what I want to do is I want to videotape it, because this is always the confirm. So I'm going to go like this, hit that, tape it, and see whether or not it's doing what I want it to do. Okay, so there you go. Now let's see what we get. So up here like this, up to the top, and there it is. I can almost draw a straight line right down the shoulder line. That's planed, and you can see that swim noodle pointing right up to the sky. Now when the club comes down, forearm is rotated. Now I'm going to compress down. Beautiful. Club is on the ball right there. It's excellent. So I really like that swing. So now what I'm going to do is now take this off. It just unscrews. You pop that out, drop that there. But now in my mind, I'm visualizing that swim noodle sticking off parallel to the perpendicular to the face, parallel to the strike line. So it's pink, which I like that color. It's a good image in the after image to imagine. I see that thing, and now I go up here like this, and I'm pointing that swim noodle up there just the way I want. In fact, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to record this and see how close I am to getting that done. So here we go, up like this. It goes up. Rotate those forearms. Feel that swim noodle pointing to the sky. And now here we go. Up, out, rotate right there. And there you go. Now the club is on the right plane. You can pull that thing full, Gibbsy, and you can see that that club, when I draw that line from the head of that golf club down to the shoulders, that's as good a play. That's like Steve Stricker right there. Now start to come down maybe a little. No, this looks like this is going to be pretty good. Yeah, right there through the hands. That was excellent. Club is right on the golf ball, maybe a little bit on the toe. But as this club comes down right there, that is a perfect delivery position. So the shaft of the golf club right there, you can see that. And my toes, those lines are as close to parallel as you can get. And now it's just a rotation down to the golf ball, a little blurring of the ball right there by the club. Good strike on that. Body is rotated out of the way. It's exactly what I want to try to do. So you want to plane the golf club. What you got to do is you got to feel a little forearm rotation, but it doesn't mean that you have to think about rotating the forearm. So here, what I'm doing is I'm imagining the 9 o'clock position of the shaft twisting over to the 12 o'clock position of the shaft. That's all I'm doing. So I take the 9 o'clock position of the shaft, I keep it to about waist high, and then I want to turn it to the 12 o'clock position of the shaft, so pointing up to the sky, and now all of a sudden the club is in the right position, just exactly where I want it. Let me just hit one more because I just can't resist the temptation. Got a golf ball in front of me, a club in my hand. What do I got to do? I got to hit it. So here we go. So same thing, up and rotate. And I don't know if that was perfect or not, but what I can tell you is that what I feel in my motion, that ball did what I wanted it to do. It tracked out a little bit left, went pretty straight, or maybe have a little right movement to it. But what's key and what I feel when I have this in the right position is my hands don't move. That's what I feel. Now, what I can tell you is this, and I mean at the strike, right? I'm not losing the grip. Many of you are taking the club and you lose the grip when you get to the strike. Sometimes you get a wear out on the grip itself in the thumb position as a result of it. When I've got the club in the right position, in the planed position that I'm looking for, when I come through the strike, the grip in my hand are one. My trail hand are one. There's no alteration. And if you're feeling like your hands are slipping on that grip at the strike, chances are you're not on the proper plane. And so in order to get on the proper plane, you got to feel like you're taking the 9 o'clock position of the shaft and turning it into a 12 o'clock position at the top. So 12 o'clock position at the top, right here. Now the 9 o'clock position is now pointing up to the sky. And when it's pointing up to the sky, that's when you're going to get the club in the right position, the right plane. And that's going to allow you to bring that club down and make the strike that you're looking for. Remember that when you're trying to plane that golf club, it's going to help you shoot lower scores. To improve all parts of your game, subscribe to my channel and click the link below.